How's it going, YouTube? This is my third third attempt making this video because it keeps on being too long because I keep on rambling about different projects, which I will try and avoid doing. I also, realized today that I say the word a lot when I'm tired, and my videos are just full of the ums. And I talk a lot during my job. As part of my job is talking, and I'm wondering, have I just been saying like 24/7? But anyways, I will shut up. I'll try and shut up, not talk too much. So it's been a long time since I made a video, a couple months. There's a reason for that. I've been out. I had surgery. I had COVID. Not a ton of fun. Was an opportunity to get painting done and learning to paint in bed, which, maybe I'll do more, more of that in the future. I don't know. But anyways, so we did get painting done, which was good. And for a treat, I had prepped myself up a lot of claymore castings, and that's what I painted. That's what I'll show in my video. I will try and keep this brief, my talking, before we go to the miniatures, which are in photos, because I did this weeks ago and took the photos and put them away. I didn't record a video. But yeah, for a year in review, quickly last year, I painted 750 miniatures, played some games, met some new people, traveled around a little bit, even with COVID. The goal for this coming year, paint the same amount of miniatures, 750. I've already got over 100 done for this month, so we're in good shape. That being off work for a while was a big boost. Second goal, try and keep work at work. It's difficult for me. I take my work home all the time. I'm working on work all the time. I want to do that less, and even as I say that, I have work that I have to do tomorrow on Saturday, even though I don't get really paid for it because I have a salary and I'm not physically at work. But it just has to get done. But I want to do that less, and maybe that means being more productive at work itself, but I already am very productive, but we got to work that out. So third goal is be more engaged with the community, and that number one is online, I think. So I put up my Facebook profile, which I had taken down because I didn't want people searching for me and finding pictures of me at parties or something, which I feel like I got all those photos off, but it would just be bad from a professional standpoint if people saw those. I feel like my Facebook is locked down. There are none of those pictures, but you just worry about stuff, people taking pictures of you at parties from 10 years ago or whatever, showing up on Facebook. So I rejoined Facebook, and I joined the Plastic Crack Podcast Facebook group, posted some pictures in there, and that was my English Claymore castings got featured on the Plastic Crack Podcast. So if you're involved with that, you've seen what is to come, but I will, walk you through the project a little bit, tell you about it, and tell you about what's to come as well. Okay? So yeah, there's that. I have joined some of the forums, like the Let Adventure forum. I want to start contributing to that. So Facebook forums, the other big one is the YouTube live streams. I've noticed those have started to come up in a big way. I was just on Medieval Wargaming's live stream, not in it, but in the chat earlier today. I want to do more of that. I'm going to ask him, he said he was open to people joining in his one today, so I might ask, I think asking him if I can join in. I do have a doctor's appointment on Friday, but I think I should, when he does the next one, but I think I should get out in time to do that. But you don't need to know my personal life details, but there I am, telling you about my doctor's appointments, what you came to YouTube to hear about. Okay, so more community involvement, and also it might mean driving to more things outside my state, driving across the region. There's another guy who's in the next state over who is into the ancients, and there's some other communities in nearby states. It's just I live far from civilization, let's put it that way. Yeah, it's about like a 4-hour drive to those different areas from where I am right now. That's at least 4 hours. And then, Montreal is actually only an hour and a half away. I'm wondering if there's any wargaming in Montreal. I hadn't even thought of that until just now. Montreal is like around an hour and a half. Boston is like 4 hours. So Montreal might be an option now that I think about it. But yeah, I want to get involved in that community in a bigger way, in our community in a bigger way. So online and in person, and trying to get on the live streams when I can. So if you're watching this and you do live streams, what's really helpful is if you post about them earlier in advance, so that way, because when they come up as a surprise, I always see them like the next day. So yeah, that's it for my rambling to camera. I'll show you some of the pictures and give you a little commentary on them, and see you next one. I will have a video out coming very soon next week, because I've got some stuff like 95% done on the bench, and it was just too much for one video. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one, and take care. And well, I'll talk through the pictures, so not take care just yet. All right, so on to the photos. So yeah, I kind of had to learn how to paint in bed on this kind of little table, but I think it ended up working out pretty well for the most part. So yeah, that's some in progress shots of what I was working on. So here we have the completed English forces. Well, not complete for the army, but complete for the ones that I painted. So that is 36 troops, 24 longbowmen, and 12 close combat infantrymen, billmen, whatever you want to call them. I did them kind of in a red and white livery, with some green as kind of like the third major color. These figures are awesome. I kind of want to buy more longbowmen. I won't actually field them as a big unit like this. I'm thinking, they might be for line rampant, what I was initially thinking. So those are in units of 6 and 12. So 2 units of archers, 1 unit of billmen, and then we're going to add mounted knights and men at arms and whatnot too. But I'll talk about that in a later video. So here is actually everything that I painted while I was out. So not only were there those English troops, but I did a bunch of different Scottish troops and mercenaries, which will, I'll tell you about these different units. But yeah, I think they turned out looking pretty good. So firstly, here we have the Scottish Knights. So in line rampant, they come in units of 6. So I did kind of 3 bases, with each one theoretically worth like 2 guys or so. Or actually, did I do 4 bases? I think I did 4 bases. Or was it 3? Yeah, it was 3 bases. So each one, I'm losing my mind, okay? So I did 3 bases, and they're each worth 2 guys. And yeah, those are antediluvian miniatures for the most part, but I think they were sculpted by the same guy as Claymore Castings sculpts. So yeah, I did the knights in all different, tunics or whatever they're called, surcoats, to kind of represent that they were wealthy dudes, and they're also kind of part of that Scottish pike phalanx with the pikes. So here we have the Scottish pikemen. So I did 2 units of 12 of these. These ones I did in much more muted colors. They're lower. I guess they're probably more like middle class, to be honest. I don't think they were peasants. But more muted colors. There are a couple, higher status kind of guys mixed in there. But I think they turned out pretty cool. So here we have some Highland Archers. Now I think some of these are technically from a later period, but I think they look cool. So these are, who cares, I guess, honestly. So we got some archers, add a little firepower to the army. So here we have some Highland double-handed axemen. Now I think these were sold as gallow glass warriors. I'm using them as kind of Highlanders, Islemen. Again, I think they're technically actually from a little bit of a later period. in the early Hundred Years' War, but I thought they were just kind of too cool to pass up to get some, you got to have some fierce Highland kind of guys in a Scottish army, right? And I gave him the flag of the Earl of Seaforth or the Lord of Seaforth because my family, I've had my grandfather and my great grandfather were in the Seaforth Highlander Regiment in World War One and World War Two. So yeah, I wanted to kind of have that family connection in there. So this was a pretty cool unit. These are my Genoese mercenary crossbowmen, I guess taking a little Scottish vacation. This was one of the coolest units I think that Claymore Castings offers, and I'm gonna be so I ended up buying a bunch of Italian spearmen and Pavisser spearmen as well from Claymore Castings. So these, I think we're gonna have enough troops to do a small Italian force for some of those early midi or 14th century medieval Italian conflicts with like John Hawkwood and stuff. So we can have English in Italy as well, which will make for some nice different tables rather than just the kind of like Scottish Highland tables. We can do some Italian style, battlefield tables. So yeah, I also did want to show the unit from the back so you can kind of see how they're, propped up against the shields, against the Pavises. And the Genoese actually would have like one guy firing, one guy holding the shield, and one guy loading. So I tried to kind of do something like that. Didn't, it's not like perfect like that, but that's the system that they used. So lastly, I did want to include some shots of the back of these units. So I did do some of the tartan cloaks, which, I did fairly rough tartans, but I think they came out well, and I think they'll look good from the back. Those are the knights from the back, which, yeah, I think the knights look nice, and yeah, some more of those tartans too. Overall, yeah, I think the banners looked really great too. So yeah, that's kind of all I have for you. Right now, I got some Romans that'll be done very soon. Thanks for watching. And I got a boatload more Claymore castings actually just arrived in the mail today. So we'll have more of those coming as soon as I can, the weather cooperates and I can prime them. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.